Another ad.
And bomb ballad. Stadia Pro is like
Sorry, I had to redo this video. Pay a $6,100 fine for violations at the animal shelter. You guys are not going to believe why they got fined. The animal shelter, okay? This is where they take in dogs, cats, pets to try to, get them adopted out, take care of them, when they find stray animals and stuff, and they're supposed to get them doctored back up to health. They have their own veterinarian and everything. But listen to this. According to a letter to the county manager from the state, okay? The county has less than 60 days to decide to pay the civil penalty or file a written petition for a contested case hearing. During an inspection by the state on January 3rd, a dog was found in an enclosure with an injured leg. The inspector wrote that the dog was there for 2 weeks before it was taken to the vet, where an exam revealed the dog had a broken leg. The dog was then subsequently not given pain medicine for 4 days after the visit. The dog was transferred to another rescue, who then took the dog to another veterinarian for surgery. The dog's leg had to be amputated, in large part due to the delay in veterinary care. The inspector also wrote that 3 cats were found in a very small transport carriers behind the building. The shelter director reportedly didn't know that they were there and said the cats had been taken for spay or neuter surgeries the day before. Those poor animals had just had surgery and they were stuck there in a carrier. The shelter director reportedly didn't know that they were there and said the cats had been taken to be spayed or neutered the surgeries the day before. The report says the animals were without food, water, and a litter pan for at least 15 hours. The inspector asked another employee about the cats, who relayed a signed statement that she knew that the cats were not behind the shelter, when she did a walkthrough the morning of January 3rd. Days later, on January 7th, the employee told the inspector that she lied and confessed she had placed the cats in the carriers behind the shelter on January the 3rd. Because she was supposed to have called the farm where the animals were expected to go, but had forgotten to make the call. She further stated that she had placed the cats there so that the shelter director would not see them and be angry for forgetting to call the farm. The inspections also revealed the shelter was experiencing a roach problem. In all, the inspector noted a total of 16 violations. The county was notified of the civil penalty in a letter sent last month. The letter states the shelter needs to develop and implement written protocols and corrective action to address violations. WWAY reached out to the animal shelter director, Loretta Shipman, and she had initially agreed to talk on camera, but when we arrived, she said the county's attorney would not let her speak. County Attorney Amanda Prince also would not comment on the civil penalty or violations. Linda Pignon says she lived in the county for 15 years and she has never liked the way the shelter operated. There's got to be a better way of what they do, Pignon said. I was told on Friday they could have changed the day, but there was a day that they would destroy what dogs they had left. Euthanizations were not an issue during this most recent inspection, but the animal shelter did pay $5,000 fine for euthanizing dogs just 2 days after they were impounded back in 2015. Prince says, with employees at fault, she is waiting to release a statement. Did you hear that? Let me read this again, okay? Let's go back to this point. Euthanizations were not an issue during this most recent inspection, but the animal shelter did pay a $5,000 fine for euthanizing dogs just 2 days after they were impounded back in 2015. That means they didn't even try to adopt these poor dogs out. They literally picked these dogs up. This could have been somebody's family dog that was on the side of the road and got lost, or got out the yard and took off. It could have been somebody on vacation whose dog jumped out the car, in a hotel, and they couldn't find it. This could have been the mother of puppies. This could have been just some stray dog that didn't have nowhere to go that could have got a new home. I'm so mad. I love animals, and I feel like animals they never get the respect and love they deserve from humans. This is disgusting. And they did nothing about it. Oh, they got a $5,000 fine. Oh, they got a $6,000 fine. And the county of Columbus in North Carolina, they just pay the fines and everybody forgets about it. That's just how this mess is. You know, what gets me is these people get these positions like over the animal shelter and they abuse their authority. That's what makes me mad with this whole situation. It's like, I mean, what are we supposed to, what could I do? You know, that's what I think to myself. How could I help the animals? I've adopted so many. Unfortunately, I can't take in anymore right now. But so many people are doing what they can and they're giving donations. And I mean, it's just something to think about. She left a dog. Now, was she fired? That's what I want to know. Was she fired? And this is the person who runs the animal shelter, okay? January 3rd, a dog was found in an enclosure with an injured leg. Inspector wrote that the dog was there for 2 weeks before it was taken to the vet, where an exam revealed it had a broken leg. Not given pain meds for 4 days after the visit, the dog was transferred to another rescue, who then took the dog to another veterinarian for surgery, and they had to amputate the dog's leg. But does she not get charged? That's animal abuse. This is animal neglect. Just like this is animal abuse right here. The report says the animals were without food and water for at least 15 hours. That is animal abuse. How does this slide through the cracks? I mean, something has to be done. And then, I like, this part right here. This is the best part. The employee told the inspector that she lied and confessed she had placed the cats in the carriers behind the shelter on the 3rd because she was supposed to have called the farm where the animals were expected to go, but had forgotten to make the call. She further stated that she had placed the cats there so that the shelter director would not see them and be angry for forgetting to call the farm. So she basically hid the cats because she initially forgot to make the call because these cats are supposed to be going to a farm. So instead of saying, hey, sorry, I forgot to make a call, but we need to go ahead and get these cats shipped to the farm, she doesn't do that. She instead puts the cats, crams them in a carrier, and hides them behind the shelter, hoping that nobody will see them and then leaves them there. Now, I seen on another report, let's see, there's another report that says, let me make sure this is still working. Okay. There's another report that says that they were back there for like a couple of days. But look at all of the articles about it. Denying care for dog, altering paperwork. This has to stop. I mean, we as a society, we have to step up for these animals and we have to do something. And I'm going to tell you what, I will not donate no more money to that shelter because if this is how they're running business and they're killing animals within a couple of days of getting the animal and not even trying to find it a home and they're leaving them out there with no food and water and mess, I'm not going to give them no more money. And now I wonder, what are they doing with the donations and the public funding that they get? What are they doing with it? And what happened with her? Was she fired? Were they all fired? That's what I want to know.